Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Quappa, One Drunk Man, J. Cray. Hello, hello. Eric. Yari Qwerty. Peaches. Rampaging Kills. Drua, hello. Empathy. Good evening, Avo. You sound like you want some exercise? Oh my gosh. I guess I could do some push-ups, yeah? Raider Noise, hello. Wasa, hello. How are you doing? We're starting with push-ups, huh? I guess we can do that, yes. Alright. Okay, fine. We'll do push-ups. Get the blood flowing? Sure enough. Okay. Alright, fine. We'll do that. Not sure if it's gonna show up, but... Alright. Let's do that. Haven't seen a build with Zeal switches in a long time. Yeah, I guess I haven't done any Zeal switches recently, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Alright, let's get those push-ups done then. Not sure if it'll focus. Hello. Hello, hello, friends. Alright. Okay. Why are you doing push-ups? Review Equinox XL? Oh, I know, right? It's been postponed for so long now. A group by that ended like a month and a half ago or whatever. Alright. Alright. So, how are you all doing? I hope y'all have been doing okay. His apartment isn't level. Yeah, I'm cheating, right? Totally. It's probably the camera, though. Camera might not be perfectly level, I guess. I think, there. That's a little better. It's fine. It is what it is. Don't you get hot sleeping to that giant radiator? Which radiator? Which radiator? You mean the one there? The tube? Oh, you mean the black one right there? Oh, that one doesn't turn on really. So the tube is like a steam kind of radiator, I guess. It definitely gets warm in the room, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But the big black radiator looking one here, it does not turn on. That's like old infrastructure that it's just a remnant of old infrastructure. They haven't removed it, I guess. That's what happens with New York apartments. A lot of stuff doesn't get removed because deconstructing stuff is more expensive than constructing stuff sometimes. So a lot of stuff that's old kind of just stays. Yeah, I ripped my 2 square feet. Oh my god! JD, how's your weekend trip? I know, JD is back from Vermont. Anyway, they still counted the listing? Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. I hate calculus. Calculus is not too bad, though, in my opinion. Hold up, I thought I was watching Diego's stream, not Andy's. Old in New York gives the building extra history. Oh, yeah, history. Also, Rampaging Kills, thank you again so much for the tier 1. Welcome back for 2 months. Hello, Modern Mech, how are you? Alright, let's get started. So, today we indeed do have a build with Zeal switches and Zeal stabilizers, I believe. Are these? No, these are Durock stabs. Spent 7 hours trying to get my LCK 75 VL compat. All could have been done in 30 minutes because if I wasn't careless. Careless about what? What did you do that was wrong? That didn't go well. Surprised. Alright, so here's our hardware. Screws and I think daughterboard screws and the pegs. And then we have 2 different plates. I actually think we're going to be using the aluminum plate today. And then we have 1 PCB and 2 PCBs. We'll just take one out and leave the other one in. Yo, Gio! Yo, it's been a while. How are you doing, my friend? Alright, here we have our board for today. Let's remove this, probably easier. Kept running into errors and got in the rabbit hole of trying to understand QMK. Oh, yeah, I guess the first time you do that, it's kind of confusing. The first time you do QMK related stuff, it's a bit confusing for sure. So I understand the struggle. I definitely struggled the first few times I was fiddling around with the QMK stuff, and then yeah, no, once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty straightforward. But yeah, definitely the first few times it's a little strange. I've been good. How are you? I've been pretty busy, so I'm a little bit stressed out from just having stuff going on. But other than that, I'm doing pretty well. I would say. Yeah, I'm doing all right. You got the good color? Oh, I see. Is it because you got? Is it because you got it too, Toki? Probably. So today we have Burgundy Blasted Stainless Steel Win Keyless #1 Revision 2. Very exciting. Alright. Again, our empty box here. That's what it looks like. Digging the cat camp? Thank you. Alright, let's take a look at this bad boy. I wonder when they'll do another group buy so I can wait 2 years for a Keycult. Why don't you just go try to get one of the... have you tried entering the 265 and when they release when they do the releases? Because that's what they're currently working on mostly. But if you're waiting for a TKL, I guess that could be a little more difficult, yeah. Woo! Wow. Okay, this looks nice. How much does that weigh? That's a good question. I'm not sure actually. We can try to weigh it. Yeah. But here it is. Our Keycult #1 TKL Revision 2 in Burgundy and Blasted Stainless Steel. I have to say, I like the Blasted Stainless Steel more than the Polish personally. Polish looks nice because it has, the Polished Stainless Steel will have the machining mark. Like the machine marks on the inside, and like, you know, it's nice and shiny and all that, but I actually do really like this matte color for stainless steel. So, and I do think that this flatter color looks really good. Yeah. Against the Burgundy. Polished over blasted? Yeah, except for the fact that polished just scratches and like all that shit like really easily. Which is something that I don't like about it, but you know. Getting censored here. I just got my GO1 a similar color. Nice. Actually, yeah, most nugget, let me get the scale. I'm kind of curious how much this weighs. So unbuilt, this will weigh Burgundies. I've seen more TKL boards this month than I've ever seen before. I guess it's been a lot of TKLs lately, yeah? Alright, so this weighs 5 pounds and 14 ounces, which is equivalent to 2.66 kilograms. 2.66 kilograms unbuilt. So the other one that I built last time pretty much weighs the same because the other one was also aluminum and stainless steel. So, yeah. Alright, so, okay, I think the daughter board isn't in the bag, so we don't need to open this up for now. So I'll just leave this on the side here for now. Diego, I did the thing, you better have Burgundy. I do have Burgundy, yeah. It's actually on my 265. The red one, the red black one. Diego, do you have Red Alert? I actually do, yes. I do have Red Alert. You mean Red Alert GMK, right? The one with the beige modifiers rather than the white and red DCS. Right? One day I'll own a Keycult and I'm out of the game? Doubt. Exiled, it's been a minute for sure. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, we can do Red Alert or Burgundy. Both of them should look pretty nice. I would say Red Alert probably looks a little better for this board just because the stainless steel is blasted rather than polished. But that said, it's probably like a toss-up, honestly. Looks good either way, probably. Oh my god, I hate that the backs are just so tightly packaged here. It, like, barely fits everything. Mostly just the Ziploc part here. Okay, there we go. So, this will look bomb with Perestroika. Perestroika would look good, yeah. I actually don't really like. I think Perestroika is cool, but I personally am like whatever about it. Yeah, I don't know. It's the modifiers and also just, I guess it's just the fact that it's a two-tone set. I think I'm personally leaning more towards like different colors because the Burgundy's already so strong, like that red color. Yeah. Is this a personal build? No. It is not a personal build. Nachos full of bad takes today? When is Nachos not full of bad takes? GMK Red Alert over DCS for me? Oh, yeah, I do like GMK Red Alert a lot though, for sure. I think the beige just looks really nice. But the black and red is like also... I mean, the white and red for the DCS set is also pretty clean, but the contrast is really, really strong on that one. I think the beige really like tones it down a notch. On how like strong the red can look. I like Crimson Cadet better? Yeah, I actually agree with Joe. I like Crimson Cadet better over Perestroika, personally. Yeah. But I don't have Crimson Cadet, unfortunately. I didn't buy it, and so and I don't want to pay a ton in the aftermarket either, so I just kind of, yeah, I'm just kind of stuck there. Yo, Reborn! Hello, how you doing? Thank you so much for the 11 months, buddy. What's this link? Oh, wow, that's toxic, Toki. That's pretty toxic, you know? Alright, let's see. Let's open this up on Via. Where'd you get the Limo cable? I had this custom made through... I sent the connector and the cable out to Space Cables, and then they had it made for me. But that's because also they're... I am sponsored by them, so... But you can also ask other cable makers. There's a lot of other cable makers that make them, so... You know, it's not too difficult to get a cable made these days. Yeah. Actually, do I even have this layout saved already? I think I might. Will tag. Oh, I guess not. Okay, whatever. Real Limo is technically more durable, true, but it's like how many times, like how much do you think you would use the cable to the point where you would question the durability of the cable, you know what I mean? Like, or the connector rather. It's like you really gotta be treating your cables pretty poorly for them to actually like have questionable durability. If that makes sense. Oh, do I not have the Via on the screen? I don't. My bad. Red Alert instead of Burgundy? Okay. Alright. I think I have to go find some of the extra keycaps for it. But yeah, sure, I'll do that. Alright. Number 2 of number 1 for me, gotta say. I do like the TKL number 2 a lot too. Yeah. Why spend $70 on Limo when you can just get a basic rubber USB cable? True. You could just get a Lindy, honestly. I want a coil cable, but the only scheme that would fit my setup would be white, and I don't want to be a base. Oh, come on. Who cares? Just get whatever fits your... I mean, whatever. I mean, I guess that's fair. I have an OG paracord cable made by Nubbinator like 8 years ago. Still works great. Don't abuse cables. Yeah. What do you do to actually break cables? It's kind of... Especially like for a keyboard. I don't know. It's a little difficult to break them. But yeah. Find the aviators to be too chunky now? Yeah, I guess that's true. Once you see thinner and thinner connectors, you get to realize the aviators look pretty chunky. Yo, DT888 subbed. Thank you so much for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Alright, PCB is perfectly functional. My cat chews on them? Oh, that's one way. Oh, okay. I guess if your cat chews on your cables, that's pretty unfortunate. Damn. Okay, yeah, I guess if you have a pet, that's a different story. That's for sure. I swing my keyboard by the cable. Got a zap cables kit and couldn't get it together. Making cables is actually not trivial. It's actually kind of difficult. JD's eyelashes are so long, I'm jealous. It's the cakes. Thank you so much for the tier 1. Difficult to master, yeah. Where do you get them Spongebob keycaps? Courtesy of Mr. Joe, who's in chat. Got these fantastic Spongebob novelty caps, but they're basically OEM profile. They're OEM profile novelties that were, I guess, Dysol made it, and sold a long time ago. But yeah, I don't know if anybody makes anything like it, like these specifically. But I haven't really seen anything similar yet. But I'm sure that there's people out there who do like those custom dice up stuff. So a solution to cables breaking would be to braid each wire individually like an IEM. I mean, yeah. I know there's people who have braided cables actually. Hot take for people competing for Thok using caps and that orange cherry profile is cheating. Geekies group buy. Yeah, so Geekies used to be Mr. Fang's shop a long time ago. For those who don't know, Fang used to be a I guess like a retailer kind of guy who would run group buys for stuff on Geekhack. But he kind of disappeared after a while. Yeah. A friend makes braided cables like the IEM. Nice. Yeah, proper braid cables take a while, I heard, yeah. Daniel! Hola, guapo. ¿Cómo estás? How are you doing, my friend? Yep. I'm actually gonna ask him to do one for me just to piss him off. Would it piss him off though? I mean, you could ask them and pay them for it, and then it won't piss him off. You know? You could just pay them for the time. But I guess if it's a friend, I don't know. I don't know what your relationship with your friend is like, so. Of course I'm paying. I'm not a cheap ass. I'm just saying. Some people are like, oh yeah, he's my friend. He can totally do it for free. So, I mean, I don't know. But I definitely know those kinds of people anyway. What got you into doing commissions? I just like building keywords. What got me into it was really that I was just building it for myself and for friends. I used to do it for free for a long time. Did it for several years for free for people that I just knew. And then people were like, hey, you know, you do a good job. Why don't you get compensated for what you do? Because, like, it's not incentivized if you just do it for free. And as time went on and I started getting busy and stuff, I was like, yeah, you know, it's true. I can't incentivize doing this or spending, like, so many hours and, you know, not getting much out of it specifically. Other than, like, the joy of doing it, right? Like... So yeah, that's what kind of got me into it. But yeah, originally, like the reality is I just like doing it. It's a hobby for me. I enjoy building stuff, working with my hands, tinkering, like, you know, just messing around with materials and parts and putting things together. Although, like, at this point, like, for example, like assembling keyboards is pretty ordinary. Like, you know, it's pretty follows a very standard procedure. It's not rocket science, right? but I still enjoy it. It's like a good way to de-stress, and it is like slightly time consuming, but it's not like, you know, I'm sure that there's costlier and more intense hobbies out there. So it's a good pastime, I would say. Photo done with my braid cable for my mouse. Oh, I see. Vancouver Coffee, hello. What kind of boards did you start with? Boards that I started with. I mean, I did, so I actually, well, the first few boards I had in when I first started in the hobby was actually Topre stuff. So HHKB, Nova Touch, Real Force, that kind of stuff. And then later on, I would do, like, for MX custom builds, I like, you know, like modded, like a Leopold, like a Philco, Vermillo. I like also did like I also built, like, you know, for my friend, one of my first custom build that I did for somebody else was a Duck Eagle V2. For myself, I rebuilt a Duck Octagon that I had bought on Mech Market. I also, like, you know, built a White Fox, built Duck Blackbird, built a bunch of other stuff, like a lot of other stuff. Like KBD75, once they came out, like KBD75 came out maybe like a year into the hobby for me. So yeah, like the first KBD75 came out like, maybe like a year after I got into hobby. So yeah. Vermillo, very nice. They've definitely gotten better. Like, it's only gotten a lot better, I would say. Oh, hydrate, sure. Been wanting to try Topre? Oh, you should definitely try Topre. Topre is pretty different, I would say. It's like nothing like MX. It's definitely more similar to the OEM boards, like the rubber dome that are out there. Like, it's more similar to that, but what Topre offers is like a kind of consistency to the typing feel, and it sounds pretty nice too. I like Topre a lot. That said, I definitely am biased because that's what I started with. Kind of a bit of that like nostalgia / like, you know, obvious bias towards the first thing I started with that I liked. So I mean, I like MX Browns a lot too. Actually, that's what I used before I started with Topre. So that was my first mechanical. Yeah, like in MX at least. Been lubing some pre-mates to give to family members as Christmas gifts. Oh, I actually used to do that too. So I would redo pre-builds, or just like, you know, for practice and just for fun to like give out, or to have other people try, like to have friends and co-workers and such try out, because back then I was working, so co-workers who didn't know about mechanical keyboards would get to try them and stuff. Or sometimes just bring them to the office and leave them there, and, you know, like whoever's in the office will get to use it. So yeah, I would do that kind of stuff too. So yeah, I just kind of delved into like the whole, like, just, you know, taking things apart and putting them back together. Yeah. Yo, Temptation, hello. How often do Keycult do the raffles? I would say whenever they finish, well, like these days they do their raffles maybe every few months, I would say. Whenever they finish doing their productions for the 100 unit each for the 265s lately. That's been the latest stuff, the 265 Keycult 265 raffles. So those are normally 100 unit batches in different colors. And the latest one that you did was the black top and purple bottom. And then before that, I think they did the red one, red bottom and black top. Yeah, so I'll say every few months they do something. Lately they've been a little delayed because just a few roadblocks / you know, and George, Jorge from Keycult just had a kid, so they're busy being, you know, family people, taking care of family stuff. But yeah, they're working hard to get production running. So I want to design keyboards. Designing keyboards seems fun, but I personally haven't learned how to CAD, so I would have to learn how to CAD. Really craving the wireless HKB? I mean, you can get one, Nacho. I mean, you can either do the hybrid ones, or you can do Pro 2 with Hasu, I guess. That's another way. Ano roadblock? Yeah, Ano roadblock. Yeah, so that, yeah, also because the Ano is happening third party. So it's like when you outsource your work, you know, you have to wait for others. So yeah, it's just the way it goes. It's just the way it goes. Honor, better rig #1 extras and give it to me. With all the Keycult money, they should have hired... What? I actually don't really think Keycult makes that much money in the first place. If you think about it. If you think about it, I don't think the margin is that big. To make stuff, to send it to anodizing, to buy packaging, logistics costs, paying for employees, machining costs, electricity. And then it only happens once every few months, which means that the money only comes once in a blue moon, pretty much. Yeah, I kind of thought about it too, and I was like, you know, it's like rare injections of money that comes in, and then as soon as it comes in, it goes back out because you gotta pay the bills, pretty much. So like as soon as, like, basically the only way to make a very, very good stream of money like that, making stuff like keyboards, is for you to have machines running 24/7 and the process to just keep going, and you keep selling and keep making and keep selling and keep making. That sounds pretty difficult, especially in the current day and age where we have high costs for even raw, like, you know, raw material is expensive, and then it's getting more expensive, and then obviously like labor is another thing. But yeah, it's like if you think about it, it's kind of difficult. Also, I don't know why I lube this wire when I haven't done the insert, so I need to do at least one insert here. Commissions keeping the lights on. Yeah, commissions would keep the lights on for sure. But yeah, even that gets bottlenecked. If you have like anodizing being the bottleneck, that would suck. Is this one keyless? Yes. The sheer amount of capital to get the equipment they have means that their margins are super low. Yeah, at least for now, right? Like it just takes a while to ramp up. Materials are crazy expensive. Yeah, I mean, have you guys looked? I mean, like you guys can look up all these prices. These, like, you know, price for raw material. You know, you can look it up. It's like on Google. You know, just look up like raw. You know, like price of aluminum, price of brass, price of steel, price of gold, whatever it is, right? And like you look at some of these graphs and you see that the trend is like pretty heavily skewed upward. It's getting really expensive. So if you're surprised that keyboards are expensive, there's another reason why. Or getting expensive, rather. There's another reason why. Price of machining, free, right? Free. But when it comes to you and somebody asks you to do something, you're gonna charge them, right? People are funny. Labor that I do is not free, but labor that others do for me should be free. Easy clap. Scalpers? What do you mean? For raw material? No, raw material is expensive because there's not because the supply is short. You know? And COVID? Yeah. Time is money, am I right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay, well, so to go back to the question as to why I started, you know, charging people for work that I do, it's the same. Time is money. Not enough time in the day. There's, you know, sometimes I feel like I want more than 24 hours in a day, but there's none of that. So, yeah, can only do so much. Logistic systems to get them where they are needed is fucked. Well, I mean, it's all linked up, you know. Whether the supply is short or whether the logistics are fucked. It's unfortunate, but we're not there yet. And it's only getting like more and more backed up, right? It's like cuz as businesses kind of come back to more of a normal state, we're demanding for more. But anyway, yeah. Logistics make brain cuckoo? Yeah, sure. For sure. I'm sleepy, but I can't miss out simping for friends. Happy Sunday. Sleepy? Wait, already? Wait, Mason Gray, you're like in... What? How are you sleepy already? It's so early for you. What do you do today? Had a rough Sunday? Just a lazy Sunday, I guess? Also, how are you, my friend? Yeah, Keycult keeps a pretty high QC. That stuff ain't easy to do at a large scale, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's another factor for slowing down things, is that if you want to QC to a high standard and at a fast pace, that's difficult. Diego, I'm a 75-year-old grandpa. I ran around Seattle with California friends, bailed on a late night photo shooting because I was feeling tired. Late night photo shooting? What do you photo shoot late at night in Seattle, actually? Like the Needle or something? Or I don't even know. Little did they know I left them so I could join friends. True. Do you see my commentary that I left you on the chat that you asked me about? I said all those things and you didn't even respond. Sag. Oh, okay. Oh, you're outside. That makes sense. Yeah, true. Keycult Beanstalk is A+ for other makers. Watch out for the A-. How you doing, Diego? Hope you had a good weekend. Kanekunchi, hello. I'm doing well. I had a good weekend for sure. My weekend was pretty nice. But it's been busy, I would say. I've been a bit overwhelmed with work lately, or rather starting to feel a little overwhelmed with work because there's just a lot of deadlines piling up left and right. But that aside, I'm doing well. I'm healthy and well and all that. No issues with my daily, but yeah, just a little stressed out with work. That's all. Oh, what did Joe just say? I'm 40 and running around Seattle makes me tired. I mean, I'm sure running around Seattle is probably tiring, but yeah. You guys stream's pretty good for winding down for the day. I mean, you guys are winding down with me basically because I normally stream on the evenings to wind down myself. Like, it's a way for me to de-stress, so you guys are de-stressing along with me, which is great. Well, I hope. Until I get tilted and start bumping onto GMK trays and dropping all the keycaps on the floor. And then getting excited over breakfast food or something. I'd pay a lot even for a C-stock Keycult. I mean, I'm sure that even C-stock's probably like fairly spotless. Because, like, if you have seen the B-stock pictures that they have for some of their B-stock sales, I mean, like, when they do, like, extras or when they do sales for, like, in-stock stuff for the 265s, the B-stock stuff doesn't, like, it has, like, nothing on it, like, pretty much. Like, maybe, like, a really, really minor blemish because of anodizing or, like, a mark on brass or something if it's brass. You know, it's fairly minor. Been getting blasted with research. The bedtime has been 5 AM or later for over a week now. Holy fucking shit. That's not me, for sure. I do not get blasted that badly as Reborn does, but because Reborn has a very tough research life, and also Reborn actually works harder than I do. Unlike Reborn, I don't work hard. I do not work hard enough, I think. I am definitely not putting in enough time as much as they do. I probably should, and more so I think the expectations are not as high, but that said, I probably should. But I hope that even with your really hectic and really fairly possibly unhealthy schedule, I hope you're trying to keep yourself sane and healthy, eating properly, drinking a lot of water during the day, hopefully. Stay safe, my friend. Stay healthy. Every day we see a horror story. Yeah. C-stocks do not exist. P-. What makes a Keycult so priced? Again, it's exactly what we've been talking about. High quality control standards. You know, small business with high quality products, solid fan base, you know, reputation for sure, and more importantly, just a high quality product overall is really what separates them from the rest. Consistently delivering like quality products over several different buys and whatnot. That's what makes them, you know, desirable. And a pretty active community too. Are you a certified Monkey enthusiast? What are the qualifications for a Monkey enthusiast? Work smarter, not harder. I guess that's true. What's B stock? Would you explain things? A B stock would be anything that has minor blemishes on like the anodizing, or like I think dents or small marks tend to be extremely minor. That's almost nearly invisible, maybe only visible in certain lighting, tends to be B stock at a high quality standard. But I would say like a dent is not going to be B stock. It should be lower. Anything that's like a dent or like a gash, that's a clear like change in the physical contour of the object, should not be B stock. Should be a lower than B stock for sure. But I would say B stock at a high quality standard should be like maybe like a very small blemish, you know, slight discoloration in a very, very small spot. Although I think that quality standard differs for everybody who does QC. But Keycult standard at least is very high. Anyway, JD Camp, since when this shit is monumental? Yeah. DOE contracts come down hard when deadlines for nuclear work come. They don't bulge. Oh man. So it's like a nuclear bomb exploded on your desk. Hi, I'm new here. Is this where I get a free Keycult? I was told they were the very best. Like no one ever was. I want a good keyboard, so it has to be a Keycult. Thank you everyone for helping me out! Anodized in America, that's right. Yeah, Keycult lately, all the recent releases for the 265s have all been anodized in America, which is great, you know? Land of the great, land of the free. That's exactly where we anodize our products. I mean, like where Keycult anodize their products. Work less, think less. Wilbutech PCBs USA made. Yeah, Wilbutech PCBs also very nice, very high quality and very pretty as well, and highly functional. Made most patriotic keyboard brand. Anyway, surely people are nearing or passing Keycult prices to some degree. The quality per dollar is solid. Yeah. Frog B-Stock is pretty good. I haven't seen Frog personally, so I can't say much. Settle for free Vader. What silver would be that Keycult? It would be a light silver, not too dark, not completely pale. The Wilbutech PCB is not USA made indeed. Designed in Melbourne. Produced probably in China, but I'm not sure. Probably though. So for my third commission, can I ask for lightning silver? You should do it. You should do it, Mason Gray. I want to see the response when you say, "Hi, can I get lightning silver and the blue?" And then they'll be like, "Sure. Would you like to send this to Lightning Keyboards?" And you'll be like, "Yes, of course." Let me see. Maker B stock was fine for Phantom, but black boards hide. Yeah, I mean black definitely can hide a bit more, but also black can also turn out to be a little iffy sometimes with like splotching and stuff. So Bub XYZ, hello. What do you think about the recent Rama drama? I think the work from Hebe should speak for itself. But other than that, I mean, based on what's being said, it's obviously it's not a good sign for Rama Works specifically, when your major collaborators and designers and others are, you know, dropping you in collaboration. That's a bad sign for Rama Works for sure. So that's what I would think. Like, I would say that, you know, when things like that happen, it kind of speaks as to what may be happening, you know, behind the scenes. But more importantly, I personally think it's a bit petty on one side to, like, you know, strike DMCAing for work that is not particularly theirs, for example. Why did everybody drop Rama? Well, there can be personal reasons, and reasons that we don't know about. But, I mean, if it has to do with the professional world, it likely is because there was a disagreement or a conflict of interest. What's the worst? Wait, hold up. What's the worst? My Mountain Ergo from Kitty Fans delivers tomorrow. Very curious. Ooh, I'm curious myself. I'm calling the silver option silver. If they let me commission a third board, I'm down to have you build it. Yo, let's go. Let's do it. What's the worst thing you've ever accidentally gotten on a keyboard? You mean like gotten on a keyboard as in like like a substance on a keyboard? I think the worst thing I've gotten on a keyboard was, ooh, it was probably super glue actually, and then something stuck on the super glue. But fortunately, it was an OEM board, so I was able to like clean it off really deeply with like alcohol and other shit. But I would say that I was working with super glue on my desk and then accidentally splattered and got on the board, and then I think like a piece of paper stuck on it. And you know how like super glue just sticks to everything, right? So obviously like the piece of paper kind of like it tore, like left all the fibers. It looked so bad. But yeah, that was probably the worst thing though. Other than that, I mean, I spilled like maybe the drink once, but it was not on top of everything. It was just like a little bit, so I just like wiped it down, and it was fine. I'm out of the loop. What happened with Rama? I think there's a Keep Talk thread that describes or at least accounts some of the events, like at least in public, like what's been posted publicly and stuff. People have been talking about it, so you could probably just look that up. I think that's been fairly informative as far as like what the account of details that people know about right now. By the way, that job you did for me is fire. Oh, Joe, I'm glad you like it. Do you think it would be risky to join any more of their group buys? I personally would think that if collaborators are dropping left and right like flies, you know what I mean? I personally think it's a bad sign and would observe before going into any future buys or anything like that. Because it's kind of like a sign, right? Like it's kind of like it's like a warning sign rather. So I personally would steer away from it for at least a while and see what happens. So yes, I would stay away from it for now. Biggest EX is Wilbur not making PCBs for Rama anymore. Yeah, that is true. I would say that Wilbur making PCBs for Rama is was a big pull for a lot of the Rama Works work, because you know the PCBs are kind of guaranteed to work in a way, right? Like it's like Wilbur has a good reputation for good reason, and he does great work. But yeah, not seeing that kind of work out is obviously another thing to think like, oh well, like what's going on here, and could be a bad sign, you know. Let's see. And Brando, what's up, buddy? Who would have thought there would be lots of drama in the community like keyboards? I mean, it's not even just keyboard related, it's just business. Like, it's nothing to do with keyboards, it's just business. Like, it's just purely business. It's just people who are working together who have a conflict of interest. It happens in everything, like in every place. Wherever there is money involved, there can be a conflict of interest, and people fall, you know, people's collaborations fall apart from those conflicts of interest. It's just that simple. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's keywords. There's people doing creative work, right? There's people designing and doing original work, and there's people who, you know, who commission others for creative work. There's people who work together with others to create new things, and yeah, like those conflicts arise all the time. Yo, Patty, hello, 6 months. Also, Patty, do you want stickers? You should fill out the stickers form. Exclamation stickers and exclamation sticker or exclamation stickers, I think both work. And you can probably fill out a form and I'll send you some stickers. I spilled super glue on a desk pad once. Oh, that's happened a lot for me. I spilled super glue on a desk pad many times. Eating a BLT and getting mayo on that, hard to explain. Anyway, reading down. I'm not buying anything else from Rama. Gonna wait 2 more years for my thermal. Guys, don't buy any jars, okay? Oh, jars. Oh, right. The Rama jars that fit like 1 nut. Haha. Haha. No pun intended. Have you tried lubing blacks 106 or 107 oil? How do you find them compared to regular old 205 grade 0? So the thing with lubing switches with oil is that first of all, oil tends to like form like a bigger sort of like, is it like a bigger meniscus or a bigger drop, I guess? But so like oil will tend to mute switches a decent bit because like you'll see like a big drop sort of stick to surfaces. But if you spread it out really thin, it should be not as, it should be like, it should kind of glide more easily than like grease, like 205 or 204, right? But you should be more careful with oil for sure. When lubing with oil, you should be more careful because it doesn't stick the same way as grease does. Like it doesn't apply as like nice and even coat like grease does sometimes. Like if you like wipe the brush on a surface, like you'll leave more residue from the oil and like it'll change the way the switch feels. So just I guess just try it out. I think I can't really easily explain it for you. You just need to try it out. To like actually like it's a very hard thing to describe in words, I would think. But I would say like, yeah, you just want to be more careful with oil, generally speaking. Yeah, it can run off as well. That's another thing. Drew said that. It can also run off. So like as you use the switch, the oil might drop down to the bottom of the switch, so it'll pool down. So that's another thing. Like if you use too much oil, it'll just pool down to the bottom of the switch. Will be sad if my car turned out without the wheel PCB. That would be pretty sad for sure. All right, so let's see. What you're saying is too logical. Rama most definitely, absolutely, 1,000,000% punched Kate's dog. Yo, poor Hibiki. That's so sad. Young homie, hello. Alright, let's see. Oil is for springs, grease for parts that run in switches and stabs. You shouldn't use oil on stems, for example. You can use oil on stems, but again, very careful, in my opinion. I've used oil on switches. Other people have used oil on switches. Just be careful, though. Like, it's easy to put too much oil in. Because it runs, basically. Can't one mix oil with grease? You can, but mixing also can separate. But people have mixed oil with grease for years, yes. So you can do it in your own way. People have done it for a lot of years for sure. And basically a lot of these old, like if you've ever heard of like Keycaps lube or like, Krytox mixes that people used to sell, like Mkawa used to do that a lot from Keycap. And like like GHV4 for example, right? These are all mixes of different viscosity lubricants, and you can mix them. They're mixtures after all, and yeah, I guess they'll have a shelf life as far as like how long they go without separating, and then in time, if they just sit still for a long time, they'll separate. Just like any mixture that's, most mixtures will likely eventually separate under certain conditions. So, yeah, at least in this case, they will. But, again, mixes have been popular and a lot of people have used them. Alright, let me just catching up. Hibiki's so cute, I do agree with that. Wildcat use a mix? Yeah, Koreans have been... Back lubing is meta for Koreans too? I mean, Koreans kind of have done a lot of things for everything. What linear switch is worth to try? I already have NK creams and tangerines. I like alpacas, Gat inks. I like Gadron switches with milky tops, for example. I like MX blacks. There's so many switches out there though. I would say that if you haven't tried a switch that you have some curiosity to try, why not just give it a shot? H1s are pretty good. OP blacks, I've heard really good things about them. Pinoccos are good. Lavenders are good. There's a lot. 4F switches are pretty nice too that I've tried. Yeah. Is Mkawa dead? No, probably not. I think just no longer involved with anything community related, or at least like, you know, hobby wise. Like they just, you know, people move on. Like people move on from things like the hobby, you know? It's just a hobby. It's temporary for most people. I would say for 99% of people it's pretty temporary. People come and go all the time. So Mkawa, like many other people in the past, have moved on from the hobby, which is fair. I think that's pretty normal. Is there even a reason to use GHV4 now that we have Krytox and Tribosys? Personally, I say there's no real reason to use GHV4, but because that, I personally don't have a preference in favor of GHV4, but that's me. I know some people really love their GHV4, like I know Velvet does, like I know some other people, I think Juan really likes GHV4. I know a few other people do really like GHV4. I personally don't care for it as much. I've tried it many times and it's good, but it personally for me, like the marginal differences are fairly minimal for me. So I personally don't care for it. Marshmallows are cool with progressive springs. Oh yeah, marshmallows are nice switches too, yeah. Marshmallows are pretty nice. My 3 E, D, and C keys just stopped working out of nowhere. Anyone know what to do? What were you doing that they stopped working? Rather, I think that's a question to ask afterwards. It's like, what were you doing? Like, were they working before, and why did they stop working? Or is it, or rather, like, that's the question we're trying to answer. And the question would be like, what were you doing before they stopped working? Like, did you solder something? Did you take out something? Did you disassemble it? Did you change something about it? I was in the middle of playing a Valorant game. Out of nowhere, I could not strafe right. I did nothing to it. Okay. It's possible that one of the columns is... I mean, if your 3, E, D, and C are not working, that's a full column that isn't working. That's a full column of switches that's not working, which means it's one of those columns in that matrix that isn't working. So it's possible that that column died for some reason. Like the signal basically just isn't, you know, going from your keyboard to your PC. So one way to address it would be to open it up and see. But just because it kind of happened randomly, I'm not sure what the reason might be. Specific, you have to pinpoint it, but the only way to do that is to open it up and inspect it, really. I only use my favorite streamer tells me to use because I'm unable to make a decision for myself. I just use 205 for everything. Isn't Carbon GS2 supposed to be a GHV4 alternative? Is it? I actually don't know exactly what the formulation for these things are, so... I bought my casting equipment from Mkawa. Way overkill. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know Mkawa had casting equipment too. That's pretty cool though. Diodes toasted. Oh, that's possible. Diodes could have died, yes. If a diode in a certain location died, maybe the signal's just not passing at that point. So diodes is a good place to look, like trying to like see where the signal died, and it could be a diode, could be something else. Wearing a matching shirt with a red Keycult? No, that was actually kind of coincidental, actually. Yeah, burnt diodes is a very likely outcome here, though, because over time they can definitely burn from like current spikes and whatnot. You will need a multimeter to test stuff. Yeah, it would be convenient if you do have a multimeter, though. Ron? Oh, Ron's there. Ron's there. It's just... Oh, Frank! Hello, Frank. Have you been flown to the moon and came back? How was your Enothon? I lurked for a bit. I hope it went well. I saw that you had a good time. Good to see you, my friend. Congrats on your subathon. Enothon went well, had tons of fun. He streamed for 24 hours, if I recall correctly. Binge and I both were in talks with him. Crazy medical grade stuff, pod and compressor. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, Frank, that's pretty impressive, dude. I didn't do 24 hours straight myself. Which I personally think was probably the best decision I made. To be honest. You find Zeal switches to have brittle housings. Brittle... I think they're basically the same as other Gadron switches. So I wouldn't say brittle, no. I think other housings can be just about the same. I think if you're being a little too rough with your switch opener, maybe, that could make it seem like they're a bit rough. But, I mean, make them seem like they're a little brittle and fragile, but other than that, I don't think they're particularly more brittle than other switches, you know what I mean? So... I find it impossible to pull them out of a plate without snapping most of the clips. That, however, I would say is also valid for other switches. I think other switches, sometimes when I pull them out of a plate with like a, you know, like a switch puller like this, can make it seem like they're gonna easily like stretch out or break that little like part, the little like LED bridge here. Yeah. But I would say that I've seen that happen with other switches, so I would not say like Zeal switches are the only ones. Maybe it's just more noticeable because they're also transparent. That's an issue with clear tops. Yeah, I think it's more noticeable with clear tops. But I'm not sure if the frequency is like significantly different. Like if that happens a lot more. But definitely seems more noticeable with clear tops that I've seen. But yeah, it could be the material though. Let's see. I've used my many JWK switches. Silks are the worst. I see. Silks, huh? Interesting. I don't think I've used silks as much to kind of verify an account on that, but I'll trust your word for it. Does Lightning use BDZ or 205? I use 205 for stabilizers. That smells better. I don't like how this one sounds right now. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Ozzy, hello. Wow. Hello, 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 hello. Let's go, Diego. Let's go. Hello, friends. How are you all doing? Thank you so much for the raid. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hello, friends. How are you all doing? Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a good stream, Oz. Mr. Darren, how are you doing? Hope it's been a good... I guess it's Monday for you, huh? I hope it's a good Monday morning for you. Hope you're doing well, mate. We had a chill stream. Lubed and reviewed some community shots. Ooh. Oh, that's right. How are your community? They're not contests. They're just like themed. What is that? Themed sessions. Themed submission periods. Alright, I think that sounds better. Alrighty. Cool. Maybe I'll put this one over here actually. Last week was family keyboard shots or group shots. Oh, I haven't done a group shot in a long time, I have to say. I should do group shots more. We'll pop back in a bit. Sounds good. Is the expensive switches? Do you have the space to do a group shot? Yeah, I can just do it on a table like in the living room, or like even my room. I just need to set it up. It's not hard. It's doable. I've done it before, but it's just, yeah. It's just a chore to do though, for sure. He has a lot of space. Spoilers? Yeah, I have enough space. I do live in a location where there is enough space, especially in my living area, I would say. You have so many keyboards, you probably need a super wide angle to climb up a ladder to have every... No, I wouldn't do that many keyboards though, Peaches. I would do like 2 or 3 or something. I don't know. I don't know. How many keyboards do you think I was gonna take? I'm not gonna do every keyboard I have or anything like that. Do all of them? That's not possible. That is simply not possible. They have to be like themed in some sort of way. You know what I mean? Why are these switches not clipped perfectly, huh? It's kind of annoying. It will be epic if it's every keyboard. I feel like if I did every keyboard, I'll be forced into retirement. You know, like maybe my family will hit me up and be like, "You have a problem, Diego. I think we're gonna put you in house arrest or something and strip of all your, like, you know, strip you of all your keyboards and shit because you're making, you know, financially poor decisions or something like that." And then, you know, and then you won't see me ever again. Some shit like that. Just stack your boards on top of each other. Yo, have you seen the trend, the AIO3, the stack your keyboards hashtag on Instagram? Yo, it's great. I love it. You should check it out. Just look up stack your keyboards on Instagram. It's fantastic. It's a hashtag, I think. Stack your boards or stack your keyboards. Like AA for keyboards, yeah. Keyboards Anonymous. Hi, my name is Diego and I'm an addict. I'm an addict for keyboards. I'm an addicted to keyboards. So sad. The problem is keyboards is just the beginning, you know? Just wait till they uncover the keycaps too. This is my personal favorite from that. Is this the... Which one is this? Is this AIO? Oh yes, this is so good. Let me show you what it looks like. I think I do have... Hold up. show up. Oh, okay. Look at this one. In hopes of reaching new heights, stack your keyboards. I love it. Stack your keyboards. Let's check it out. Look at this. Stress testing the horizon so you can use it worry-free. More like stress testing my anxiety. Oh my god. I love it so much. Reach for the stars. Look at the ISO at the bottom. Look at the ISO at the very bottom. Oh my god, it's so good. Oh my goodness. Only do so at your own risk. More people need to get onto this. Get on this challenge. Oh my god. So good. So lit. Boards cost too much for these shenanigans? That's why it's fun though. That's the thrill. The real thrill is putting your most expensive items, right? Stacked up. Oh, it's so crazy. It's so funny. Do it, Diego. What are you waiting for? I know, right? Is this how we get B stock? Yeah, this is how you get B stock. Mendes did it with the constellation too. Oh yeah, Mendes did do it. I remember. I remember when he did that too. Oops, I bent that pin over here. Why these don't clip all the way through. Selling boards with small dent, aftermath of stacking, otherwise good as new. Hashtag stack your keyboards. Perfect. Diego, how fast do you think you can crank out 110 loop switches? That's a good question. I don't know. Fast? I think if the point is to do it fast, I could probably crank it out in a few hours, but if the point is to do it properly, it will take me a lot longer than that. I don't think I would do it though, because it's a waste of time to do switches that aren't properly lubed. So yeah. Two 2.5 hours? Yeah, I think that's probably as quick as it gets. But if I want to do it properly, it probably takes me like more like 4 hours. 5 hours maybe. Probably like 5. No, probably longer actually. Patty has done 88 in like 2 hours. Yeah, I think it depends on how I want to loop my switches. But yeah, it's doable fast. It's doable. Like you can easily do switches pretty quickly. But again, it all depends. Man, these switches are like terrible at clipping onto the plate. I don't know why. I kind of hate it. I don't see the little tabs protrude properly. There. Okay. Do you prefer the Keycult number 1 or number 2 aesthetically? I do have an answer for that. I prefer the Keycult number 2 as a TKL, and I prefer the number 1 as a smaller layout, personally. But I have to say I like both quite a lot. They're very different, aesthetically speaking. I can do 124 hours lubed and filmed. Yeah. I mean lubed. I personally mean, when I say lubed, I'm talking about lubed, filmed, and spring swapped, or springs lubed as well, right? So yeah. So for all of that, I would say like from opening to closing, all the way from opening to closing, I would say like yeah. The number 3 looks wild. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Me neither. I personally don't have a very strong opinion about it myself. I just I'm still too torn about the number 2. I mean number 3 TKL. Just a little a lot going on there, I guess is what I should say. And yeah, I don't know. It's like okay. It's like I don't know what to expect. That helps actually. Alright, let's see. I watch streams or YouTube vids while I lube. Helps pass the time. Oh, I watch anime while I lube my switches normally. I'm watching like TV or anime or movies or like something like that. Like when I was watching Squid Game, I was lubing switches too. For example. I'll do it while on work calls. Nice. Yeah, that works too though. Guess it depends on the context of the work call, but yeah, that's a good alternative as well. How do you watch sub shows while doing something else? Oh, that's probably because I understand most of the sub stuff without having to read entirely, so that's probably why. Yeah. I think if I need to read a lot more, then I would have a harder time, but that's not the case, I think. So in other words, I'm a weeb. In other words, I'm a weeb. And that's fine. Yep. It just do be like that. Not a weeb, a language genius. No, not really. I'm not a language genius. I happen to have been blessed with the fact that I did learn multiple languages growing up. But that does not make me a language genius. It actually takes me quite a bit to learn anything new in languages. It takes me a lot of practice, actually. Well, I remember when I was learning, like, Italian, when I did take, like, some Italian classes with, like, back in the day, it, like, it was hard. It was hard. Bro, you speak 3 languages fluently? Again, it's because it's thanks to the fortune of having been, you know, born and raised in that particular setting. You know, like I have Korean parents, like I have Korean household, right? Like family, and then Spanish from growing up in Mexico, and then English because I decided to come to the States. So, yeah. It's circumstantial to a good extent. I'm blessed for sure. Like I'm very grateful of my circumstances. That's the reality. Like that's how I feel about it. I'm very grateful that I was born in the right circumstances and the right conditions for that. But I wouldn't call myself a genius for no. Not really. Yeah. These switches suck at clipping onto the plate, I would say, but they're mostly there now. Alright. Okay, we're missing the Alt key here. I think it should go one in all the way. I think I should do it. And caps lock. Oh, I'm actually not sure if I should be doing stepped or regular caps lock, but I'm gonna do stepped, and I need to change it to regular. I'll just do it later. I think I like stepped anyway better anyway, so. I learned Korean by myself, and the friends call me a language genius. Do you have a Mexican accent, Korean accent when learning English? I would say I had a bit of a mix of both, I would say, but I think closer to a Mexican accent than a Korean accent. Because Korean, I only spoke it at home, whereas Spanish, I spoke it everywhere else. So I spoke Spanish with much more frequency than I spoke Korean. So yeah, I would say that I probably had a more of a Spanish, like Mexican Spanish accent than I did with Korean. Yeah. DCS Incognito cancelled. I can't say I'm surprised. I can't say I'm surprised. The fact that he had to change from GMK to DCS and then the change kind of came about a bit suddenly. Probably took people off guard. Caught people off guard, and then yeah. Was it because of the theme of the set? That also probably played a role, yeah. Most likely played a role in that, for sure. The theme of the set being what it was. It's like, as much as you think that might be funny, maybe some people just kind of found it whatever, you know? Hey Diego, I'm just curious, how often do you have to retune your stabs on your personal builds? I hate the feeling of holding mod, but struggle to keep the tick away for longer than 2-3 weeks of daily driving. Yeah, if I'm daily driving a board for a longer time, like for an extended period of time, yeah, I think it just varies. I've had some boards that I've like used pretty pretty often that have had the ticking sort of come in pretty early, like within a few weeks. But then I have had other boards that have lasted months to up to like closer to a year. And so I would say it just kind of depends. It's a bit of like luck of the draw, to be honest with you. I think I would say like I've gotten more consistent with my lubing, so that I think that the time has kind of increased. So probably I would say like longer than a month or two at least nowadays, but it also just, yeah, it just depends. I definitely feel like sometimes certain stabs and PCBs and like, you know, like certain combinations maybe lead to more, but there's nothing I can verify for it. Like there's no scientific experiment to really challenge that. I mean, to really like verify that claim. So can't really say much for that. Yeah, I would say yeah, it just varies. That's why I keep the syringe around. Like that's pretty much what I use, because I don't want to desolder the entire board sometimes. So if I have to desolder the whole thing, that means the stabs are pretty bad, or like there's nothing I can do with the stabs, even with the syringe. So yeah, but often the syringe kind of helps. I think the key part is that your first build needs to be really good. I think that really helps, making sure that your first lubing of the stabs, like the first time you fully build it up, ends up being like as good as it gets, and then the rest kind of comes in as needed. The electric grease does dry up, yeah. I personally have found 205 to be personally preferable, but other people do prefer BDZ. I don't though. I prefer 205 over BDZ. Are your parents still in Mexico? No, they're not. They're in the US. I thought it looked pretty good for decent for what is essentially a meme set. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought it looked good too. I think the theme of the set aside, the colors were good. Like the overall like set was decently put together, but yeah. I guess people weren't just feeling it at the time when it ran. Climate also makes a difference. Yeah, humidity, temperature, all that stuff will make a difference. Like, do you lift your boards and stuff? Like, you like put your boards here and like, you know, you move your boards back and forth often. That kind of stuff can make a difference too. All right, let's start soldering, shall we? Isn't Teja a BDZ simp? I thought he used that a lot. Yeah, he started using it and he's been using it since maybe like a little while after it came out. Yeah, he's been using BDZ a lot more lately. I personally did try using BDZ and I did like it at first, but then realized that fixing stabs, like I think like if you get it right the first time, like BDZ can be really good and whatnot. But I also find it kind of more difficult to work with BDZ after the fact, so I personally don't like it. And BDZ just feels a little messy. Like for example, like let's say you only lube, like you lube the insert, right, the stab insert with 205, and then you lube the wire with BDZ, right? The problem with that is like you don't want the BDZ and the 205 to like come in contact with each other. It gets really messy. So I just found BDZ to be really messy of a lube, which is why I don't like it. Like I don't want to rely on two different substances for the process. Is one main reason I don't like using BDZ. Like the having to rely on two different substances for the process. And then number two is just that it's just messy in general. Like it's a very like, it like once it sticks, it just kind of like it like paints the stab almost. Which is something I didn't like about it. It's just so viscous that I didn't really enjoy using that. This is where the Stevies come in. Oh yeah, speaking of Stevies, did anyone here grab Stevies when they dropped on Canon Keys and other places? I am being sent a sample of Stevies at some point. I mean, I'm hoping. I think Canon Keys did reach out recently about Stevies. But I know that they sold out really quickly on Canon Keys, so I still haven't had the chance to try them. But hopefully, yeah, I'll get to try them soon. A new sample of Stevies. Not sure if anyone here grabbed any. They sold out very fast though. They sold out like the same day really quickly. Good night, One Drunk Man. Have a good one. Take it easy, buddy. Yeah, also, they're not fully revised units yet. They're still technically sort of prototype. Like, they're like pre-production almost. Where like they're trying to hone in on feedback. So waiting for the final product is also not a bad idea if you don't want to like feel like you're beta testing something. Essentially, is that foam ESD safe? Probably not, but I highly doubt that any ESD is gonna happen in this particular setting that I'm in. I haven't had any ESD happen, so I would imagine it won't, so yeah. But no, it's just a regular piece of packing foam. So I don't think there's any ESD safe properties about it. And I'm certainly not doing anything to electrostatically charge the items on my desk, so yeah. And I don't live in a particularly dry environment either. Problem with Holy Mod is people are using band-aids. Yeah, I personally don't like the idea of Holy Mod. Like the band-aid specifically. But yeah, PTFE fiberglass tape. Interesting. Yeah, no, haven't tried that. I mean, I've tried Holy Mod because somebody sent me a set of stabilizers with Holy Mod already done to it. Or like just the band-aid at least, not the lube. And you know, I tried it out. Like it kind of works, but I actually don't like the feeling of it nearly as much. And if you lube anything like that, it'll like make it soggy, right? Which is kind of worse. But yeah. So I've kind of stuck to my old ways, I guess, which I'm not sure if it's like the best thing for everybody who, you know, gets builds done through me. They might feel like I'm a little outdated on how I do things, but it's worked for me, so I kind of stuck to it. Yeah. That's just how I feel about it. How about no tape period? I haven't played enough with enough different stabilizers, but I haven't experienced much of a difference between different stabs as long as they're clipped in, if needed, tuned and lubed. Yeah. So I personally feel the same way. It's like if you do a decent lubing for stabs, you really shouldn't have as many issues. Like, I think the ticking is inevitable in general as a process because, you know, it like lube is bound to move as you're using the board based on their environmental conditions as well as just from use, like from all the moving going on. So yeah, I think the ticking is an inevitable process regardless of which lube you use, regardless of which stabilizer you use. I think it's just an inevitable thing. Like, as long as there is a bit of space in between your wire and your insert, which is what Holy Mod and those FC Mod and Holy Mod and all these things are trying to solve, right? As it stands, if you just grab lube and stabs, any stabs, it's bound to happen. The question is, how soon? And how badly? Holy model works better with a non-fabric band-aid. Yeah, that's what people are saying, right? Anyway, thank you for the sponsors command. Peaches, indeed. Exclamation sponsors to check out the different sponsors for the stream. I'll just mention some of the group buys currently happening. I believe GMK Rudy and Soya Milk are still going on Canon Keys. Check out canonkeys.com. They also have a variety of switches and Brutalist series keyboards in stock regularly. They also have a Bakken Echo 60 drop planned for tomorrow, I believe. Tomorrow, Monday, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I believe they have a Bakken Echo restock planned. It's going to come in black and in white colored cases. So Bakken Echo 60 tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern on canonkeys.com. They also have new desk mats available for group buy as well as for in-stock sale, so check them out. Soon they'll also have other group buys like November Fog and Trash Friends GMK sets. They also have nice PBT in-stock cherry sets and switches and other little goodies that you can check out. Right now, I should say, let's see, what's the next sponsor right now? It's gonna be Kinetic Labs. Kinetic Labs currently has their PBT sets, Corn, Whale, and Octopus. They will also soon have Penguin stitches back in stock. As if you don't know, they also have the Carbon GS1 and GS2 lube, which is unique to the Kinetic Lab store that you can purchase. They also have dust mats and other kinds of collaborations for switches, so check out their stock for that. They also have other accessories available as well, so check out kineticlabs.store/lightning for any purchases. Is there a mechanical limitation that stops stab wires from physically moving up and down instead of rotating? Mechanical limitation that stops stab wires physically moving up and down instead of rotating. I think with the current design of stabilizers, I can't see it working any differently. You would have to design stabilizers in a completely different way. Like, basically not being held by that point near the bend of the wire. I think that's the main thing. It's like where they're being held is going to be limiting them from rotating. Or is this rotating technically? It's like rotating the cylinder. So like rotation in this direction, kind of like, you know, because the wire is like this, right? So it like rotates like that. The tip of the wire, the L part, is moving up and down, but yeah. So I think it's because the anchor point is right here at the bottom of the L bend. That's the main limitation. I think as long as we keep them bound to that part, we're not gonna see any changes in how it works mechanically. You would have to somehow bind them to some other structure at a different place so that you can still stabilize the key, but have a different kind of motion. Yeah, maybe it would have to do with like, let me think. Because the idea is that when you press the switch, it goes down at the same time on both sides. And it comes back up at the same time, right? So like you're basically giving it like a stiff point in all three parts, like middles and two sides, right? So they all comes up and down together. So the question will be how to do that. I wonder if there's a way to put them independent from each other, but still managing to do this. Yeah, that would be difficult though, because if you press it on the one side like harder than the other side has to, like you have to bring the other side down for the whole cap to actually come down all nicely. So, yeah, it's kind of tough actually. The singular wire is actually like it's the most, it makes the most sense mechanically. This guy made maglev stabs? Yeah, I did see that. I've seen that video. It's on YouTube, I think. Pretty sure I saw that video on YouTube about the maglev stabs. Pretty interesting. Yeah. If it moves up and down one side, the other could move at a different rate. Yeah, exactly. And that's what you don't want. That's why we have one wire for both sides, right? you can't make them independent because you want to keep the two sides together. So that's the tough part. Anyway, just finished soldering here, but gonna keep talking about what we currently have available through our sponsors. I think next we have Novelkeys, novelkeys.com. You can purchase any in-stock product from them with a 5% off discount by using the product checkout code BOLT. I believe they still have GMK Bushido available. They have NK Silk series switches, NK creams, dust pads, and many other accessories. They still have the Gatoron figurine, the vinyl figurine toy through their store, so you can also get that with 5% off discount. They have a pre-order for TTC Matrix 01 themed switches, which use that similar stem that the TTC Wilds use, like the box style stem. And other products available through novelkeys.com. Just check out their store. Alright, let's test this out though. Alright, next we have Omnitype.com. I should remind you all that Omnitype today is the last day for GMK DMG round 3. So tonight is the last night for the group buy. So if you have been on the fence of buying GMK DMG, it is your last chance to get it. So just a reminder. And they also have GMK Classicer through that was designed by Obolotsky using some custom colors that are similar to like a light cream beige sort of color. So that's also available for group buy at the time. Of course, Hebe collaboration for DMG. There is also desk mats and other accessories available through omnitype.com/lightning. So make sure that if you're purchasing any items, try to use the affiliate link if you'd like to support the stream. And yep, that's about it. Next, we have Prime Keyboards. Prime Keyboards, I believe, still has some Meridian Round 2 units available. primekb.com/lightning. They also have T1s, TTC switches, Krytox 205, Durock stabilizers, some desk mats, Milmax sockets, and Durock V2 staffs, which is where I source mine. They also have Cobalt palm linears. They also have cherry staffs if you are looking for cherry staffs. And they also have desk keys parts like desk key switch films. And other accessories like switch openers and other cool switch modding tools that you might need. Check out primekb.com. Next, we have Project Keyboard. I believe they still have some pre-order units for Dolce Astral Light. So if you missed out on those group buys, you can still purchase Bingsu R2, Dolce Astral Light through Project Keyboard. But I don't think there's a specific group buy going on right now through them. And I know that I received news that DCS Deltaware should be shipping quite soon. So looking into that too. I'm sure you covered this. Why Tribosys 3204 than 205 grade 0? Yeah, 3204 is thinner than 205. Yeah. Are you ever worried of some switches with thicker stems stretching out keycaps and no longer snug fitting on other switches? Yeah, there are some switches that have thicker stems, right? Like for a while the box switches had that, but not anymore. I haven't heard of anything since then though about stems being thicker than usual or than they should be. All right, salvin.com, check it out. They recently sold out of the Stevies, as we mentioned. They also have the Favorite Things desk pad pre-order. They have the Calamity Skull pre-order, and they also have socks, leftover Auralite and Amethyst switches, Durock stabs, and other apparel through Salvin. And then finally we have Space Cables, spaceholdings.net, where you can currently check out also the Favorite Things desk pad. They have the Chaos Theory cable. They have GMK Wob Red Cyrillic also available. So if you I've been looking for a white and black set with red sub-legends. GMK Watt Red Cyrillic is still open for group buy, and probably one of the cooler sets, especially with all the revisions that have been done to the Cyrillic sub-legends for that. Project by Karma and their partner. So yeah, check it out. You can also check the Geekhack thread for more information on that. They also, of course, have other cable collaborations that you can check out. Yo, Pengu! Whoa, hello. Thank you so much for the raid. Hi. How are you? How are you? Nihonjan, thank you so much for 205 bits. 205. Alright, let's open up our board now to put this in. So let's get this going. Right one. Alright, and we need to take this one out to put the daughter board in. I send the children to make you to make bad financial decisions. Alright, children. Time to make bad financial decisions. You should get a mechanical keyboard if you don't have one. If you already have one, you should get another one. Because they're cool, they look good, they sound and feel great. Do any of your classmates, colleagues know about your keyboard hobby? Yeah, some people do. Not too many, but some people do. Buy more keyboards, you say? Yeah, do you want to buy more keyboards? I already spent 1k this month, I cannot. Why am I having a deja vu? I feel like you said this last time that I said something similar to this. I'm having a bit of a deja vu here. Maybe? Yeah, I think pretty sure I heard something like that exactly from you the last time I said the same thing. Hello, is Dennis here? His mom wanted me to tell him to go to bed. It's late. Dennis, time to go to bed. What's up, John? How you doing? All my friends think I have a problem with keyboards. This is why I don't tell a lot of my friends about the keyboard situation, but I'm pretty sure I will be out. I have a lot of problems. My name is Diego and I spend 5 digits on keyboards. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Have you converted any of them into hobby? I've converted some people into the hobby, yeah. Which keyboards we buying? All of them. How many keyboards do I need for one hand? One per finger, I guess? I don't know. Hi, I'm Child 10, ready to empty my wallet. Welcome, welcome. Ewan Peter, Freddie Franco, welcome. Any Dennis avail? Do you guys see Dennis? We have mods here? I know, right? We have mods? Hello? What is a moderator? I mean, Pono was here briefly earlier. Might still be here just lurking. Oh, Pengu, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Damn. Thank you, thank you. Okay, goodbye. Okay. Bye, Pengu. Have a great night. Have a good week. Poner is still on the viewer list. Oh, okay. I did spend like 1k last month because of Kikoichi. Oh, I see. I just bought Dallas. Oh yeah, me too. I did pay for Dallas as well. I did do that as well. Empty something that's already empty. Next time I come over, let me type on your teacher, Alice. Okay. Bring food. Bring food. I'll do it in exchange for food. Food is the entry fee? Yes. Food is just the beginning. I need food. Feed me Seymour. Oh damn. These little PTFE thingies or whatever. Kind of tough to put in here. Like, small. They're not. I missed something? I don't know. Is the Slice of Joe's the peace offering for New Yorkers? Yo, Joe's is pretty good though. Joe's is pretty damn good though. I do love me some Joe's pizza. I never looked at pizza the same after trying Joe's once? Dude. Hell yeah. No, yeah, Joe's is solid. Okay, this damn thing is not gonna go in, I think. This last one here, it's not necessary, but because we already have 3 of them, so I might just leave it out. Alright, time to put on gaskets, I guess, though. Where's the gaskets? There they are. So... forget. These were smaller than the others, so... GameChub stuff is nostalgic? Yeah. A lot of slices to be discovered in New York through other than Joe's? Oh yeah, for sure. There's definitely other slices of pizza that are just as good. Or you know, like really damn good in New York. For sure. For sure. Like Sbarro. As a southerner, please get them out of here. Sbarro is trash. Did any of you guys get classic red extras? I did not. Love his caps on the Stellar 12. Yeah, aren't they so awesome? The Spongebob caps, so good. Are those WASD UV printed caps? Wait, what WASD? What? What WASD? Oh, you mean are these WASD UV printed? No, I think they're dye sub PBT OEM caps through Geekies a long time ago. No, they're not WASD keyboard caps, pretty sure. They're like, pretty sure. I think they're PBT OEM through Fang. One last try for this stupid PTFE thing, but I don't think it'll happen. So, oh, actually, let me go in. Let's see. Yeah, no, this thing is too thick for this thing. For this hole here. Oh well. Yeah, multi-sites and stuff. Yeah. Like, let me show you. Like, it's pretty cool stuff. Look at that. Stick half a toothpick in there. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't need to be in here. Like, to be honest, these pegs, but out of being a completionist, I just want to put it in to the, like, put it in place. But yeah, so whatever. Kind of feels sad that 3 out of 4 are in, and then the last one isn't. You know. To be honest, I'm pretty sure it just has to do with the fact that it's too thick. Spongebob SquarePants. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Oh, there. Got it. Voice actor makes an appearance again? It's only every so often. It's just cameo, you know? Just cameo. Oh, wait. Forgot to put the screws on here. Let's put the screws on first. Any APL avail for this? People, I think Nacho and Drua picked out, GMK Red Alert for this, which should look really nice. Basically still beige and red. But APL would look great too, no doubt. Alright, before we close it up, let's just do a last test here. Just make sure that there's nothing that's not working here. Alright, so I see it working, so. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Alright. Lightning, oh he is the best. No one tops skill better than the rest. Lightning, oh Lightning is the king of force. You couldn't rely on for even more. Thank you, Cookie Zach, for the poem. Anything for my boss, come on. Alright. Nice. Alright, let's go. I'm gonna go get the let me go get Red Alert. I'll be back in just a few minutes. I'll be right back. I got a cat on Friday? What? Yo, congrats. What kind of cat? Anyway, tell me about it in just a sec. I'll be right back. Alright, we back. Okay, so Red Alert. Red Alert, Red Alert, Red Alert. Oh, speaking of using points, Push-ups. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Do it right after putting keycaps on, and then we can do that. Oh wait. Hello, Shadow Keys. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. There goes the last push-up redeem. Okay, I'll do them right after this. Oh, I was too late? Uh-huh. Can't redeem anymore? Yeah, I limited to three a stream just because otherwise it just takes too much time. And I probably can't do many more than like... Probably a bit more than that. Maybe I can do like up to like... I can't do more than like 40 probably, and that's like pushing it. I would say that if I took a break I could do more, but yeah, no. Weak. It's okay. I'm a quitter. All good. I accept it. It's all good. I don't care. You can do anything you put your mind into? Oh, for sure. Oh, I'm sure my mind does a lot of things in my head. But that's called fantasizing. You can fantasize about anything you want. Alrighty. What red artisans do you have? Good question. Good question. I have some here. Ooh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go do push-ups before we choose the artisan. But I have some here. Alright. I'll be right back and do those push-ups first. Let's see. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's get those done. Hello. Whew. That Brovon? Oh, yeah. So, there are several things we can try here. Let's see. This looks nice, but it is a bit darker. The Reaper looks pretty good too. Yeah, I think the Reaper looks good. I think the Reaper is probably the choice here. The red bot, this one? This one does look nice too, yeah. The cat at the bottom, this one. Love 2 pink IMO. But it does look nice. $5D, 523D, this one. Oh, $5D over here. Oh yeah, this one looks really nice too. The Joker. Kind of torn for sure. But actually, you know, let's do this. I could do... Huh. Huh. And... like that. Maybe that works. I also was sent GMK Bushido with the board, so we'll try putting that on after this. But yeah, I think this looks good for now. So let's give this a shot. Imagine how the Artisan feels that never leave the box, please. They do. They do. Alright. RTX voice on? Yeah, right now it's on. It is on right now. I haven't set it up yet though, so give me 1 sec. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's redeem those. Redeem that. All right. Okay. So we'll try it here with the Red Alert first, and then I do have GMK Bushido that the client actually sent, but we'll try that out after. I'm doing Red Alert first because it was redeemed to be seen, but we'll try it again with Bushido in just a sec. I'm kind of curious as to what Bushido looks like on a red board like this. So, all right, friends. Here is a Keycult #1 revision 2 TKL with ZealPC Tealios switches, loop with Tribosys 3204, on a full aluminum plate. All right, let's try it out. Here we go. Ooh, 128. So high pitched? I think it's okay. I think it's pretty typical Tealios sound, for sure. Definitely tank down there. I don't know, Tealios were this clacky. Tealios are definitely more on the higher pitch side for compared to other switches, but it actually sounds pretty decent though. But yeah. Let me try it one more time. Kind of want to hear it without earphones on. This sandwich mount, it's a gasket sandwich, yeah. All right. $128 again, not bad. And here are the mods. All right, so that's what these sound like. Left shift is the unsung hero. Does sound nice, for sure. The left shift. I do like the sound of spacebar on this though, right now. Yeah. Alright, so let's take a closer look. So this is what it looks like with Red Alert. Oops, it's not focusing here. Alright, there, let's, alright JD, you're gonna go out of frame for a bit. But yeah, this is what Red Alert looks like. GMK Red Alert. I can't wait for the round 2. Can't wait for the round 2 to ship. That'll be great, but it won't happen anytime soon. But yeah, the one with R5 should look really nice. But yeah, Red Alert on red or burgundy-ish Keycult. And then I do have Bushido, actually. So it's over here. So I wanted to try this one out, so because they sent it out. And it's brand new, so let's check it out. I actually haven't seen it in person, so it'll be a good time to check it out. Ooh, okay. That looks nice. I don't know what this would look like on the red, but worth a shot. Let's check it out. Okay, it's already unplugged. Okay, that's fine. Oh, it's this set? You don't like it, Dura? Because of the two-tone? I can see how some people don't like this set as much. But yeah. Can't reach those, so I'm gonna use the puller for this. 스위치 뭐예요? 틸리어스? 예, 틸리어스 맞아요. Well, that's kind of tight, so I'm just gonna do this. There we go. Alright. Seppuku would sound better IMO, but that's kind of manga-s, buddy. I don't know. I think the naming to be GMK Seppuku is kind of manga-s. You know what I mean? Should have renamed to Sudoku. I have to say the katakana looks pretty nice on this. I do like the katakana legends on this. Diego breaking a sweat, removing a caps. Yeah, kind of just. Oh, actually, it's because I turned off the fan. That's why it's really hot here right now. My room gets really warm. So, there. Turned a little too high. Okay, that's better. If only this was single tone with white legends, I would buy. Yeah, there was GMK Honor, which was basically that, right? So. Too late for that? Yeah. Guess so. Oh. Nope, yeah. Are they the same navy shade as GMK Alter? Probably different. Probably not exactly the same. I would say GMK Alter is a little bit more... It's a little lighter, maybe? Actually, I don't know. Wait, I actually don't know. I would have to check. I'm not very sure.
Alright, let's see. Do we have any artisans that would match this? I'm not sure. Oh. Maybe? Oh no.
I feel like the accent red is a bit too vibrant for this set. I think you might be right, actually.
Oops.
Doesn't match the keyboard. We can switch it for the regular red. For the regular enter. I stepped out to play a game of Valorant and I missed Red Alert. Imagine stepping out during a stream of lightning keyboards. Couldn't be me. Ah, that does look better though. How hard do you put the keycap in? Oh, brand new keycaps tend to sit in a little bit more tightly, but they loosen up as soon as you put them in the first time. So, I mean, after you pull it out the first time. So I think, I'm just trying to be careful anyway. Try to not apply too much force, because otherwise, yeah. That does look kind of nice though, actually. Huh. I thought I wouldn't like it as much, but I actually do like it. I actually do like how it looks. The contrast is pretty good. Alright, let's try this out. Does look nice though, but since me already heard this. Ooh. You already heard the board, but let's give it a shot anyway. Since, you know. Let's see. Alright, where's JD? JD, you can come back. Oh, so it's not focusing. Alright, there we go. I thought Bushido would look much worse than it does, TBH. I have to say, I personally agree that I thought it would look a little bit too dark for the board, but actually it looks pretty good as far as the contrast goes because of the red. I think the red really looks nice on it. Yeah. All right. Let's type on this one more time. You probably have already heard it, but for those who missed it, like Nacho, who missed it, we can type on this one more time. Alright, here we go. Tealios on aluminum plate with a GMK Bushido. Whoops. 133. Do you have the boom arm mounted to the desk? It's really far out, but I mean, I really think the thumping is from the board sinking into the mats, probably. Weird right hand typing? Everyone has weird habits here and there. Board too heavy? Yeah, board is too heavy for sure. I mean, board is pretty heavy. It's like 3 kilograms, over 3 kilograms. It's like 3.5 kilograms almost. Yeah. I mean, all built, I think, something like that. Anyway, here are the rest of the keys. What stabs? Yeah, Durock V2 stabs, pretty sure. Durock V2 stabs. The thumb wasn't too bad. Do you have shock mount? Yeah, it's one of those Rode PSA1 arms. So it is mounted to a desk, but it's like mounted all the way far right on my desk. Yeah. So the desk is pretty long. The desk is 60-inch, I think. Wait, yeah, I think 60-inch long desk, and it's mounted at the far right here. Whereas the board is like somewhere close to the middle. Room tour. Yeah, no, my room's too messy for a room tour. And also my room's not that big anyway. Oh, 666 characters. Yo. The devil. The devil's number. You on the West Coast or East Coast? I'm in the East Coast, so it's 12 a.m. here. Name a YouTube video and just blur out the mess. Make a YouTube video, just blur out the mess. That would be blurring like half my room. You hitting up the New Jersey meetup next weekend? Next weekend? Probably not. I didn't plan for it, but didn't even know there was a meetup next weekend anyway. What's MW? Milky Way? Is that Milky Way? Milky Way Heresy would look okay too at this point. Huh. I don't know what that looks like actually. What does Milky Way Heresy look like? Milky Way Heresy. Oh, okay. Alright. The theme is kind of neat, but I don't really like the font, but yeah, it's like there's not many black and red sets like these, or dark gray and red too much. There's not much of like this kind of stuff. I mean, there was like GMK Slasher, which I think could look pretty neat too. I don't like the fact that it's all lowercase. Womp womp. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the font is not my cup of tea, but also wait, is this Milky Way? Okay. I don't know how the kitting works for Milky Way, but yeah, I don't know. It's alright. It's alright, I think. Very reminiscent of like. No, well, no, it's not that reminiscent of Diablo or anything like that, but. Oh, is this a Z? That's a weird Z. Wait, that's kind of confusing. Hold on. Let's go back up. So this is a Z? This Z is based on cursive Z, right? Why is the rest not based on cursive? Like, why is the F pretty normal, but the Z is like a cursive Z? That's kind of weird. But yeah, it's very, very devil themey for sure. Pretty neat though. Yeah. Oh, and like the I doesn't have the dot, but the J does. That's kind of weird too about the font. I don't like that. Where's the high school S? Yeah. I mean, it's okay. It's alright. Not necessarily my cup of tea. Oh, it's also all text mods, so not necessarily my thing, but that was good. I think it's a good black and red sort of theme set. Could be a little different though. GMK Lil Nas X. Yeah. I don't think the font is it for me, but yeah. Giga Chad S. Alright. Alright, so let's take a look at this guy close with Bushido now. Focus, hello. Okay, there. Alright. So here it is. GMK Bushido on a red Keycult #1 revision 2. It's pretty sweet still. I do like the contrast on it. Actually, the blue grayish color is pretty nice on this red. But Red Alert, I think, is probably my pick, but Bushido also looks really good on this. I do think that the red alphas actually pop really nicely. Yeah. Bot is Daijobu, but top people sad. Here's the sides. Oh, it's just like dirty or something. Here's the side of the board. Keycult side. Super nice on the #1. I love the sides of the #1 like this. The curve looks so good from the side. Really like how the mid also pops on this board. Back. Bottom. It's dirty. But yeah. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Saw the number 3 design for the for the first time. Oh yeah, I got teased a long while back, but there have not been any developments for a while. They've been a bit busy with other stuff. Chat overlay is dead. I turned it off by because I was showing the board just now. Yeah, it should be back now. Nacho and Nate, who would win? Fight? Any bets for the fight? Just kidding. Y'all are funny. Anyway, y'all have any last minute things to comment? To ask questions? I actually don't like the Crimson Dusk on this particular board right now. Oopsie. Whoopsie. Oh, there. My bad. My bad about that. Starting soon indeed. I know. We are almost starting soon. Sorry about that. Press the home button, I think. We just started stream again, guys. We're going for another 3 hours. JK. Alright. Redo the whole stream. I know, right? Just unbuild everything. Just start from scratch. Build number 2? That would be nice, huh? Let's see, so who's currently streaming? Keyworm, Kimchi Jody Boy, Gym Leader Nathan still streaming. Oh, he just started earlier, okay. Roly. Don't know other people yet. Yeah. Jody's first stream back? He's been busy, huh? Haven't seen him on for a while, actually. So, what's the plan for next stream? Next stream. Let me see, actually. See what the schedule is looking like for next stream. I think the next stream will be building a Mr. Suit TKL. So, that should be the next stream, I think. Is it angle time? Oh, that's a good question also. Let me double check. Let's see. Angle should be soon, though. Actually rate lightning keyboards. Yeah, let's go raid Kimchi Jody Boy. It's been a while since I've seen him on. So, and apparently there's some kind of surprise. So let's see what it is about. Alright, let's see. Raid Kimchi Jody Boy. Yeah, indeed. Have a good week ahead, everyone. It's been real. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for the raid, Pengu. Who else raided earlier? Oz, OZ. Raid message, yeah. So let's see. Just welcome back. Let's just say welcome back. Alright friends, have a great night. Thank you again for coming by. I enjoyed my stay, Drua. I appreciate it. Some random streamer. Alright friends, have a good week ahead of you. I'll be pretty busy, so you'll probably won't see me stream until at least Tuesday or Wednesday at the earliest. But yeah, I'll probably see me stream towards the middle of the week. So I'll see you guys then. Catch you guys on the next one. Alright? Take it easy, everyone. Have a good one.